So to finish Tanya from Yud Shevat, to finish Yud Shevat's Tanya, I'll just say it over fast outside in English, that the light of the infinite is dressed in wisdom. If that light and wisdom is hidden, if it's not being channeled in wisdom, it goes to the nefesh behemis. And that could be a Jew who's not following the Torah, or it could be a non-Jew, or it could be, God forbid, an idolater, serving idols, bowing down to idols. What that means, serving anything other than the one and only God. So, anyhow, but if somebody's totally mavutal, and he comes to a time of trial, where before that he denied, and all his power went to the other side through his denial. But if somebody comes to a time when he's forced to actually serve an idol, that godly, the point of the infinite in the wisdom, and the godly soul will wake up. It'll wake up, and will say, and he might actually do an action, but he won't believe in the action on the inside. This is very similar to the Midrash. The Midrash, it says in Rabbi Berechia, Rabbi Shem Tov Bar Shem Rabbi Berechia, it talks about how when it's Sinai, we didn't fully accept the Torah. So they say that we fully accepted the Torah in our hearts at Purim. The problem is, during the 70 years of exile, Nebuchadnezzar made a huge idol, and all of the Jews had to bow down to this huge idol. Now, the Medrash says that it's the verse in the Psalms, "Vayfatuhu b'fiyam u'v'lshonom yichaz v'lo v'libam lo nachon imo," and their hearts are not with them. They're enticed with their mouths, but and their tongues deceived. In other words, we said we'll do Anaseh v'Nishma at Mount Sinai, but we hadn't accepted it in our hearts. Anaseh v'Nishma at Har Sinai was not accepted in our hearts. We weren't yet totally out of Egypt when we accepted the Torah. We accepted the Torah, but we had to go through a further purification process to be completely with God. Then, in the 70 years of the Babylonian exile, when we had to bow down to the idol made by the Assyrian king Nebuchadnezzar, it says we bowed down, but actually at that time we were at the level where we were only with the one God. So we bowed down the outside, but we didn't do it on the inside. That's connected to the Tanya from Yud Shevat. So it says, Otzim kol chol kol kach, va'ine orin sof baruch hu melabash b'chochma shebenefesh gadol v'tzum kol chol kol kach legereshu dechot esitracha v'klipos shlo yuchol ligu afila b'levushav. So the power of the infinite dressed inside of us is so strong that it can't even touch the garments of the godly soul. It can't even touch the outside of the God. The godly soul is so strong that it pushes away any kind of foreign force. And so it can't even touch the speech and the thoughts and the actions that are infused with the godly soul and the infinite. The light of the infinite pushes away any foreign force, even in our speech, thought, and action. Not just our faith. It's not just going to be protecting our faith on the inside, but it also protects our actions on the outside. And our belief in the one, not just the belief in the one and only God, but it will also stand in the time of Nisayon when we're supposed to give our lives over to God. God forbid we should ever know such a thing. But if a man puts a gun to my head and says, serve the idol, the Torah says, you die rather than serve the idol. And that would, and the power of the infinite is so great that at times that I could be denying the God forever, and then it come to the time of trial, and I'd give myself over for God. We should never know of such a trial, but this is the law. So this is reminiscent of the story in the Holocaust. There's a true story about a man, a whole town, the Nazis came and they said, everybody take out the Sefer Torah, and everybody in the town has to spit on the Sefer Torah. All the Jews, you dirty Jews, spit on your Sefer Torah right now, or we'll kill the whole town. Anybody doesn't spit, we kill the whole town. So they all spat. They said, okay, you're spitting on the Sefer Torah. We'll do that now. The rabbi said, do it now so we can live and keep more mitzvahs the rest of our lives. We have a chance of survival. So they all did it. There was one man in town who never once went to shul. He said, I hate those bastard rabbis and I'll never go to shul. And I hate on Shabbos, I will never keep Shabbos. He was a real denier. When it came his turn to spit on the Torah, he said, no, I will not spit on the Sefer Torah. They killed the whole town. Did he do the right thing or not? You decide. But it's reminiscent of that. His godly soul woke up at that point. Woke up. של אמונה אחד, דהיינו לעמוד בניסיון, למסור נפשו, אפילו שלא לעשות רק איזה מעשה לבד נגד אמונת השם אחד, כגון השתחוות לעבודה זרה. It prevents us from bowing down to idols. אף שאינו מאמין בכלל, even if he doesn't believe that in his heart. The godly soul is there. A person isn't his subconscious, the subconscious belief. The basic assumption in Chabad is every Jew has subconscious belief. Sometimes it's conscious. So, וכן שלא לדבר טועה חס ושלום על אחדות השם. And not, God forbid, somebody believes in more than one God. אף שאין פיו וליבו שווים, his heart is not in it. You might say, oh yes, intellectually you could argue, no, but his heart is not in it. The Jew, no matter how many Jews, telling you, in the atheist society in New York City, the big atheist society of monthly meetings with fiery speakers proving the non-existence of God, fiery preachers proving the non-existence of God. And one of them gets up and he says, I heard this from Rabbi Pollack in Boston. Rabbi Joseph Pollack said, there's the one week we gave such a fiery sermon that of course there's no God, of course God doesn't exist, but if he did exist, let the earth swallow up this entire building right now. So what happened? Every one of those atheist Jews ran out of the building right then and there. They took off. They were terrified. There are no foxhole atheists. שם אחד כגון להשתחוות לעבודה זרה אף שאינו מאמין בה כלל בליבו וכן שלא לדבר טועה חס ושלום על אחדות השם אף שאין פיו וליבו שווין רק ליבו שלם באמונת השם וזה נקרא דחילו. That's called the fear of God. נכלל ברחימו. That's called the fear of God that is included in the love of God. שהיא אהבה הטבעית שבנפש אלוקית. That's natural love that is in the godly soul, the natural love of God in the godly soul in every Jew, שבכללות Yisrael, in all of Israel, שחפצה רצונה בטבעה לדבק בשורשה מקורה באין סוף ברוך הוא, whose natural tendency is to unite to the infinite, may he be blessed. שמפני אהבה זו רצון זה היא יראה ומפחדת בטבעה, because of this natural love and fear and will, that a Jew naturally will fear, and it'll be a natural fear of God. B'nogea b'katzei atuma, avodah zara chas v'shalom. That he'll naturally stay away from the decadence of idolatry, the impurity of idolatry. She neged emunat Hashem echad. Anything that is against the unity of God, the absolute oneness of God. Afila bilavusha, even the furthest garment of it, even something connected to it, like spitting on the Torah. This kofar would not do it when it came for the time of trial. Shehem dibor u'maseh b'li emunah b'lev klal. It will keep a Jew from speaking or doing something with no faith whatsoever.